by economic crisis.
Not enough food, medicine, or fuel.
No freedom of press or freedom of speech.
The largest protest since Fidel Castro's revolution swept Cuba.
Hundreds have been arrested.
Healthcare shortages.
We're short on creams, ointments, and antibiotics.
Petrol and gas crisis.
Petrol shortages in Cuba became so severe, queues at the petrol pumps stretched for several city blocks.
Collapsing infrastructure.
Building in Havana's historic district collapsed at midnight Tuesday, leaving at least 2 people dead.
The disintegrating buildings of Cuba's once magnificent capital.
A country stuck in time for decades. Sanctions choking the economy.
We will not lift sanctions on the Cuban regime.
Biden has authorized sanctions against communist Cuban officials.
Since the Cuban Revolution in the 1950s, fueled by hope for a better future, headed by Fidel Castro.
Darnos por vencidos, renunciar a la revolución, renunciar al socialismo.
Fidel Castro was the world's longest-serving dictator.
Now, in 2025, things aren't looking as people hoped for. Follow me on this journey.
So I won't obviously play the whole video, but I want to get to the bit where he finds the man who has the injury. So he's with a local Cuban, and some of this looks familiar. Like I've been...
Well, some of these would be the streets you've been on.
Yeah, I've walked up and down these
the vehicles
streets.
You've seen. You know, and you talked about it beautifully when we were discussing some of the photos that you've got from your trip to Cuba. How if you take a step back and you kind of put on rose-coloured glasses, you can romanticize it.
Yeah.
You know, the decay can
it's
be
like
beautiful
a Monet,
in its own way.
You know, good from far from good. You know?
You look at the cars, you're like, oh yeah, classic American muscle. But then actually look at the cars.
There's nothing authentic about those cars. So I just wanted to play this really quickly. It's just a good reminder of just how lucky we are.
Here with Ariel, who's
Ariel.
Nice
to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
So he's in
What
Old
do you want to know,
Havana.
man? I never say bullshit.
So what's happened here? Like you lost one leg and the other leg's really infected, right?
I have an accident
Somebody hit you in a car.
on the car. I stay in my bike and somebody coming in the car and broken my femur, my arteria.
Your
And
femur?
Yeah, I don't know how they live.
Wow.
And this
I think
one,
he said his artery as well. So
I have an accident. In my job, I am mechanic. I cut piece of metal, infection.
Infection, yeah.
And right now, I try to find medicine for everywhere, and it's impossible because my government makes something really wrong. Every Cuban people follow tourists, only for shame, only because if you don't have euro, pound, Canadian, American, you can find sugar, coffee, milk, eggs, oil, fish, beef, so anything. But if you have a euro, pound, Canadian, you can buy everything, but Cuban people don't have access to this kind of money.
So you need foreign currency because local currency can't buy you the medicine, so you need the
Anything.
foreign. So that's why...
No coffee, no sugar, no milk.
Right.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're interested, it's called Indigo Traveller. He's great. And I will put these videos on and just watch them as I'm working. They go for, 30, 40 minutes. It's how I live vicariously through other people's travels. But that breaks my heart seeing that. And I just think, like, that's where we're going. The fact that there's a guy in New York saying he wants to have, government-run grocery stores. The fact that we have people here like Abby Chatfield and Purple Pingers saying we need socialism. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it will take for these people to freaking open their eyes. I really don't.
Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's not the Purple Pingers and the Abby Chatfields that are a danger. It's the Chris Bowens and the Anthony Albanese's. Look at what they're doing right now off the back of this report that's just been released.
Oh,
I could talk
the
for a
Doomsday
long time
one.
about that. The Doomsday Report, which is classic stitch up. They create the terms of reference or the scope specifically to get the outcome that they're looking for, and I can talk to that specifically if you want to go down that path, but. We don't. Our problem is not the socialists at the fringe. It's the fact that the socialists put on a suit and made themselves respectable and took over the Labor Party. This is exactly what Julia Gillard talked about. So she used to write for the Socialist magazine when she was at university. She was, I think, the editor, and she used to write for that. And she talked about it, and they talked about it. It was a part of Saul Alinsky. It was a part of the Rules for Radicals and that whole movement out of the US that reached globally. They talked about the fact that we've got to cut off the dreadlocks, get rid of the hippie clothes, put on a suit, get a degree, and go and take over the institutions. The Long March through the institutions was an idea that came out of Russia a few decades even before that, and that's been going on now for 80 years, and this is why the universities have been captured. You talk about that. But we have socialists at the top. And I've been saying since I came back from Venezuela, yes, if you're playing the drinking game, your liver is going to have a very bad time. Since I came back from Venezuela in 2015, we are not special. If we make the same stupid decisions, we will get the same stupid results.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we are still making consistently the same stupid decisions. Now, I don't think that's forever. I'm actually quite hopeful at the moment. I'm really encouraged by what's happening with the rejection of net zero in the Liberal Party, and I think there's a backlash that's where we're seeing it reaching its yielding fruit in the US. We're seeing it building pressure in the UK, and we're behind both of them. But I don't think we're a lost cause by any stretch of the imagination. But we have to be willing to make a radical reversal from the direction that we are going in, because although we are still a long way away from Venezuela and a long way away from Cuba, that's still a few decades away, the fact is the direction we are going in is that direction. And unless we turn around at some point, eventually the destination we reach is that destination.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm really genuinely worried about where things are going with not only our politics at large, but just seeing what all the young generation, they're completely enamored with socialism because they look at capitalism as the death of their opportunity, right? So they keep talking about late stage capitalism and how we're in a point where all of the money has been concentrated to the top 1% and they're disadvantaged. And as I said, a lot of these kids have grown up being indoctrinated with the fact that climate's literally about to implode, that there's no opportunities for them, they're never going to get a job, AI is going to take their jobs, and also, that getting married and having relationships and having babies is a terrible thing. And look how depressed they are. That's what we're up against. So yes, I agree with you, like Albo and all those people are terrible, but what about this next generation that are completely enamored with giving socialism a crack because they don't believe that what happened in the past relates to what's going to happen this time around?
Well, I hate to have to give you some credit. Firstly, that was very impressive for reasons that people will never know. But I have to give you some credit because you talk a lot about the fact that we have to get involved in the culture war. We have to respond to these influential influencers who have big audiences, even if we know what they're saying is nonsense. And I kind of rebel against that a little bit because my inclination is policy. It's politics, not culture. But the reality is...
Someone is trying to...
My phone is ringing off the hook today. But the reality is, unfortunately, we've got people that are... The classic thing that I see is people correctly diagnosing the problem and then prescribing the wrong solution. And so I listen to them, even socialists, I listen to them and they'll talk about the problem, the economy, no one can get ahead, poor people are suffering, cost of living is out of control. I'm like, yes, absolutely. I'm with you all the way. And then they prescribe their solution, which is government control, central planning, that sort of stuff. And so, we have to be reaching these people and saying, hey, actually freedom's the solution, not more government control. So normally on a podcast like this, when you've got two people, one of them is the brains of the operation and the other one's the eye candy. In this case, I have to be both, which is, oi, excuse me, this one's, Carly, this one's about me. I have to be both.
It's actually about me.
Seriously, I have to be both, which means I need lots of coffee, lots of caffeine. So you can help me to get lots of caffeine by scanning that little QR code there so that I can just carry this podcast on my...
And subscribe because I'm ridiculously good looking.
Seriously, Carly? Can you not? Wow. She's such a center of attention, isn't she? Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Bye.